Hey, everybody. Interesting chat today. We dive into what's next with Lenovo, of course, a global tech IT PC powerhouse. Vijay, how are you?
Evan, I'm great. It's great to have a conversation with you. Should be good.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Of course, Lenovo has been a leader in the PC market for many years, decades. But of course, you're shifting and adapting to solutions and services and beyond. Love to dive into those topics. Before that, maybe introduce yourself, your mission and team within Lenovo, and a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I've been in IT industry for a long time. I worked for IBM, then DXC, ran large global regions, and made a lot of acquisitions in this space. So what attracted me to Lenovo was that Lenovo had a new strategy. They wanted to build the services business. And the reason why they wanted to do it is that to add greater value to the clients. We can only do so much with just providing hardware and devices and a few small services around it. We wanted to be more relevant to our clients and add a lot more value for them. And so that attracted me because in the last 6 years with DXE, I was more about general management and restructuring, more on the cost side and transformation side. So this was very attractive for me to build the business and to bring a product that drives greater value to clients.
Absolutely. So you're focused on productivity and user experience. Great stuff. As part of your next generation digital workplace solutions team, maybe give us more insight into the mission there.
Yeah, so if you know us, we are leader in devices.
Mm,
80% of our revenue comes from device sales. So when we looked at how we can add value, we said, okay, we should add value focused on a core business, which is devices. And naturally, it made sense for us to look at workplaces where devices get used and how do we go transform the workplaces, add much greater value to them. And we looked at what is it that people buy in workplaces. And we settled on six offerings. Service desk is something that people use because they need help and they need some support.
mm.
Yeah. Endpoint management, it's key because we are the endpoint or majority of the endpoints, and it makes sense for us to manage those endpoints if we are supplying them. And then security is paramount for everyone. And security of endpoints is a critical aspect. So security made sense. Then you look at it saying that that's not just enough because when people are using laptops, they want to use email, they want to communicate through chat or Teams or Slack, and they want to do other things as well. So we said, okay, we need to get into advisory space where we look at a workplace and look at how do we optimize the workplace, and we need to go look at persona-based configuration so that we optimize the environment and the work environment for various personas or roles, and also improve collaboration and productivity. So we thought about those six offerings. That's how we started. Then we decided that that's more of a silo mentality. Why don't we look at it more holistically? Let's look at work environment as a whole and how do we bring value to it, not just one aspect or the other aspect. That's when we started thinking about how do we go and create a next generation workplace. And then we thought about, we looked at the history and said, okay, what can we learn from it? And we found that the leaders in this space used digital transformation 5, 6 years ago and displaced the previous set of leaders in this space. So we said, okay, hey, we need to have technology leverage. And the timing was right. That was the time when Gen AI and ChatGPT and those things were coming out. And we said, obviously, we should go make a bet on that, a big bet on that. And we started looking at how can we use AI and Gen AI in workplaces. And we came up with a concept of Care of One. So initially, because we focused on service desk, endpoint management, security, that's why the name Care of One came. Like, how do we provide a hyper personalized care as if you're the only one client that we have? And how do we highly automate it so that most of the things are done for you? Most of the things are, we preempt most of the issues, prevent problems well in advance or before you're noticing it. That was the concept. That's why we called it Care of One. Since then, what we said was that that's incremental thinking. We need to actually go solve the fundamental problems in workplace. And we said, okay, why do we have workplaces? What is it that people want to achieve in workplaces? What do the enterprises and CEOs want to achieve in workplaces? So we centered on two things. Number one is that workplace is about people, and people need to be engaged. They need to be happy. They need to enjoy the work, and they need to be.
Mm,
So they need to perform well because organizations are not all are non-profit organizations, and even non-profit organizations need to achieve their goals. So we focused on, let's not just talk about experience. Let's talk about engagement. Let's talk about productivity, and let's talk about performance as a whole, so that we drive value, and that's a North Star. And then we started saying that how can we take care of one and grow it well beyond what our initial thought process was. And that's when we started thinking that, okay, we should think about a 3 to 5 year journey for this concept, and how do we completely revolutionize workplace. Yeah. And that was the thinking.
well, it's exciting. So the Care of One platform, I guess you have multiple goals there, including hyper personalization and automated experience. What are the other pillars of the platform, and how do you think about optimizing the workplace?
So the thought process that we had, if we have to create a workplace of the future, let's look at people who are leaders in each of the domains. So we
Mm,
said, let's look at something easy to imagine. Let's look at world-class athletes. How
mm,
do they perform at peak? How do they become number one in the world? Then you quickly recognize that, okay, it's not just about talent. It's not just about putting a lot of work and effort. They have huge amount of support. Like they have coaches to fine-tune how they perform. They have mentors. They have psychologists that improve their mindset. They have support staff to take care of a lot of admin work, and they have specialists, nutritionists, medical specialists that keep the body in shape, and so that they can perform at peak, right? So if we translate that to say that, okay, if I have to make every employee, every worker to perform at peak, I need to provide that level of support. So that they have knowledge at their fingertips. When they're doing things wrong, someone is there to coach them. If they want to improve and set some goals, there is a mentor there to go help them achieve those goals. We couldn't have done that in a manual fashion, and we couldn't have done that 2 years ago. But with Gen AI, and not only that, we're talking about agents, agentic architecture, and the future of Gen AI, where there'll be a lot more reasoning, a lot more like different personas for Gen AI and AI. That is possible. So we can create an environment and a work environment where we can look at what a person needs and then go tailor the environment so that they perform at peak, right? And then we thought, okay, hey, we can make sure that, okay, we provide the environment for a worker or employee to perform at peak in the current processes, current way of doing the work. But is that enough? So if we go to an enterprise level, enterprises are companies or businesses that take certain inputs and add value and create enormous amount of value through the outputs. So historically, we've designed the enterprises based on, say, processes and what was available then. Now with AI and Gen AI, because knowledge can be at the fingertip of employees, a lot of processes could be automated, a lot of things could be done in a different way. Do we have to reimagine the enterprise? And that's when we started thinking that, okay, we need to take care of one into a process space, into an organization design space, to look at more holistically as to what is the goal of an organization, what they're trying to produce, and how do we optimize conversion of inputs to outputs so that organizations are performing at peak. So it's a 3 to 5 year journey. It's not going to happen overnight. At the moment, we are right at the bottom rung where we're trying to automate and revolutionize support and revolutionize how devices get used.
mm.
But we know the next steps, and we will follow where the technology is, and we'll leverage it to achieve the goal.
Well, it's exciting. And so, yet you mentioned this is a new venture. You're on the bottom of the ladder here, yet you have secured, many new deals with large global multinationals. That's impressive. What do you think is resonating most with clients about your approach? to workplace transformation, and maybe describe or any stories or anecdotes about these projects at the moment.
Absolutely. So when we started looking at this portfolio, I mentioned advisory as one of the things, and I've
Mm,
been in consulting and system integration all my life. There are two nuances in that. One, you have to have a large workforce, and they need to have right level of qualifications and skills and experience, and domain experience and industry experience, and that's not easy to combine. And not only that, there is a lot of variability in skills. So when you do a consulting exercise, if you have an exceptional team, the clients are really happy, the outcome is good. There's situations where there's a different team, similar client, and the outcomes are different. So there is variability, and there's a lot of labor involved and a lot of expertise and expense involved. And it's not easy to build those. Then we looked at technology and said, okay, hey, Gen AI can solve our problem because I can get expertise. I should be able to go look at all the data and telemetry in an IT landscape. I can look at device usage. I can look at application usage. I can look at how support tickets are generated, how people are using processes, how people are using network, what applications do they use, and how do they use it, and do the analysis and easily diagnose as to what are the top 10 challenges, right? That's what consultants would do. And having known the challenges and work with clients as to what their goals are, do they want to optimize cost, or do they want to improve experience, or do they want to create more productivity? Using those constraints, find an optimum path and generate, say, top 10 recommendations, and organizing them into a transformation plan that is realistic and that can go drive the outcomes that they're seeking. So typically, we would do this with say 3 or 4 consultants. Would take 3 months or 4 months to go do this. With Gen AI, what we found is that we did a POC, and we could do that very easily, very quickly. It may not be as perfect as the expert consultants, but it's 80% there, 90% there. And the beauty of this is that you could use this to track your benefit realization every week, every month. Instead of doing it once, you can optimize it continuously. And that resonated with a lot of people saying that, hey, you're coming here and are providing us technology that you can optimize. Other thing that we did was that instead of just providing, say, RFP responses, presentations, pricing documentation, we loaded all of that into a Gen AI microsite, and we just made it available to our clients, saying that, hey,
mm,
spun this up in 1 or 2 weeks. So this is innovative. You can ask any questions. You can ask why Lenovo is better than our competition, or what value is it bringing? Is it a real value to my business, or is just a notional value? Or you can say that, okay, I don't remember what the solution is. How does the solution fit in my environment? You can ask all those questions and you can get an answer. So you don't need to have a sales interaction, or you don't have to constantly remember what you were told. And that resonated quite well. So the innovative aspects, how we were approaching the client value, and what we are willing to do, and the investments that we are willing to make in innovation, change the mindset. And it's surprising, we came in late into these deals. Clients had already selected 2 leading GSIs in both cases. There are 2 or 3 deals where we were late into the picture, 6 months late into the picture, and the client took stock, stopped, and gave us more time. And based on the discussions and based on what we could showcase, they actually went and changed the mind and awarded the business to us, which was really pleasant. Like, to win, say, large 100 million plus deals against leaders in this space in a span of just 6 months to 1 year is just incredible. I hadn't experienced that in my past life because I've worked with IBM, who was always leaders in this space, or even at CSC, DXC, we had leadership in specific domains, so it was a lot easier there. So this came as a pleasant surprise.
Wonderful. Well, clients are always looking for a practical, new, fresh approach to things. And one thing you mentioned is cybersecurity, obviously top of mind to everyone these days. And it strikes me that, I mean, that is really one of the main reasons that's slowing down Gen AI adoption within large enterprises, for good reasons around data privacy and data protection. So talk about how you're, integrating security and the AI first approach to, sort of cyber resilience.
Yeah, there were two initiatives that we drove. One was, if you look at the announcements in the last Tech World and this Tech World, we started talking about hybrid AI well in advance of AI PC announcements or Copilot plus PC announcements, because we recognize that privacy is critical for both enterprises and people, and we need to do AI at the edge, at the devices. And we consciously worked with the industry and figure out a hybrid model where most of the inference, most of the recommendation and decision making would be in your private space. So the no queries, no information would go back to, say, a general purpose large language model or cloud-based AI service. Even when we go take that to the cloud, it'll be in a fashion where the information is not disclosed, and we can leverage large language model in the cloud to solve specific problems that the local model cannot solve. That was one aspect. The second aspect is that when we looked at workplace services, security was key, and it is top of the mind for everyone. We looked at that space, and if you look at security, it's a very fragmented space. There are a lot of best of breed providers. There are hundreds of different providers. And not only that, CISOs in banks, CISOs in a lot of organizations, they have their pet products that they use, and they do not change easily. What we found with Microsoft is that Microsoft is a company that had a holistic end-to-end security portfolio. And not only that, the technology was far more advanced, and it was ahead of the adoption curve that they are in. And we have a strong partnership with Microsoft, and we started partnering with them on cyber resiliency as a service. We wanted to use their portfolio as well as combine that with a below the OS telemetry, a trusted supply chain from a hardware perspective. They're working with Intel and other chip manufacturers. So provided end-to-end below the OS and above the OS solution in security. So we didn't stop there. We were the early adopters of the Microsoft Security Copilot. We started looking at things like Cyber Range and Cloud Range, where you do simulations so that you're well prepared, well in advance of threats that might happen, rather than reactive, being more proactive, and strengthen the systems and strengthen the people's ability to go respond. And other thing that we've done is that we have the Care of One concept that looks at preventative and predictive capability in a much broader sense than just security or security copilot. We extended the cyber resiliency as a service to plug in with Care of One, so that we could get a much broader AI level security. So that is working well, resonating well with our clients. And even there, we are in an early stage. We are maturing this offering significantly, and this technology will keep changing. So we want to be on the top of what's changing and provide a security end to end to our clients.
Fantastic. And last week, this month, you had Tech World, Lenovo Tech World. It looked like quite a blockbuster event, very global and amazing use cases. Any takeaways or insights that might be worth sharing from the big event?
Yeah, Tech World, we announced a lot of different things.
Yeah.
We the AI PC, where it goes to the heart of privacy conversation that we had, and and security conversation that we had. So AI PC enables people to go not only solve the latency problems, where you don't have to depend on a cloud or a network to solve your problem. It gives you assurance that, okay, your information stays with you.
Mm.
You're getting the benefits of AI without exposing yourself to the wider world. So that's one big announcement. Second big announcement that we made was that everyone who uses infrastructure is key to AI and training AI models, or using AI inferences at a high end. So we announced a liquid cooled hardware there, working with NVIDIA, working with AMD and other partners, Intel as well. So we did make huge announcement in terms of infrastructure that supports hardware. We also showcase a lot of AI applications, AI for supporting sales, AI for supporting. We did showcase Kero as to how Kero can do upfront optimization of your IT landscape.
Mm,
We
right, nice.
showcase a lot of AI applications and solutions that enable people to go get value rather than just hardware and infrastructure.
Well, that's so exciting. As my first PC with a ThinkPad, very fond memories. It's amazing to see how far Lenovo has come from hardware to where you are today. It's extraordinary. What's next? What are you looking forward to in the run up to year end within your team and beyond?
So as I mentioned, we have a 3 to 5 year plan. Our goal was that okay, we want to become number one in for 3 to 5 years, or leaders in this space, like top three within 3 years, and that's not going to happen easily. Which means that we have to be ahead of the curve in technology. We have to be ahead of the curve in value that we deliver to our clients. And we need to be more business and business value focused. So it has to be demonstrable business value. So there are 2 or 3 initiatives that we have in mind. One, we want to constantly evolve things like Kero One, leverage AI to the maximum, stay ahead of the curve, take calculated risks, rather than wait for the technologies to mature. We want to go in there first. That's one. Second thing that we want to do is that we want to clearly look at value from a business perspective. And we want to make investments where we have a skin in the game and we will commit significant part of our contract fees to achieving those end business outcomes. Not just productivity, not just engagement, but for example, if you're in an industry where say launching drugs matters to you, and launching them on time matters to you. So on those specific initiatives, we'll commit to those business outcomes. We'll roll out technologies and initiatives that help our clients in that space. So that's one second thing that we want to do. Third thing, as I mentioned, we want to look at how do we focus on people and performance in enterprises, and how do we focus on revolutionizing the enterprises and revolutionizing how people work. And we want to have that as a North Star and continuously innovate in that space.
Well, it's a fantastic mission. Congratulations on all the success, onwards and upwards, and keep in touch. Would love to hear more about the journey in the future. Thanks,
Well,
Vijay.
yeah, thanks, Evan. It was a pleasure speaking with you. It was really enjoyable. Thanks.
Thanks so much. And thanks everyone for listening, watching, sharing, and until next time, take care.